Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester. Panhandle Outdoors, your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors and Winston Chester. I'm glad you're here this morning. Welcome to America's last remaining outdoor TV show. We're able to bring it to you because we have a great viewing audience like you. We have great sponsors, and we just live in a unique area that we can bring you so much outdoor activities, and we're just tickled to do it. So we're glad you're with us this morning. Now, the weather, I know you're as excited as I am about having these cool mornings. We're talking about in the 60s now. It's going to be in the 60s again tonight. Low will be 68, and high will be 85. Our weather brought to us by Haney Technical Center, right at the corner of Baldwin Road and Highway 77. Stop by and see those folks there, good folks, and all kind of good programs there. Water temperature is 83 degrees. It's been 83 now about 2 weeks. River readings. Take a look at that place called Bluntstown. Not a whole lot of change going on there. Like I said before, I could use that same copy and save me a lot of ink. I've had that same copy all summer. It's reading at a .6. But at Choctawhatchee at Caryville, it's on its roller coaster, but it's on the way down. It got up to 12 feet 3 or 4 days ago, but right now it's 7.3, still falling out. It's going to fall out about, for the weekend, we're looking at about 5 to 6 foot for Saturday and Sunday for the weekend coming up, okay? Now, we got a short weather. I called Captain Blair Morgan and can't get a hold of him. He must already be out in the woods or on the water, so I'll call him tomorrow morning and we'll get a report from down there and see what's going on in the middle of the week in the St. Joe Bay and that place called the Bay Area. Okay, so let's take our first break. We've got a special guest and we'll be right back. Welcome back, and welcome to our special guest, Ronnie Groom.
Morning, buddy. How you doing?
I always love having Ronnie on here. We talk as much off the air on the air about everything.
We could do 2 shows.
We could do 2 shows, off air and on air show. But we're talking about so many things going on. But duck season coming up.
Yeah, the early duck season comes up the 22nd of this month. That's right around the corner.
It is, and Jeff and I were talking about laughing at these guys on Duck Dynasty and all these duck calls and everything. And the other day, I played some electronic calls on my iPad, and I got a nice email from one of our viewers that is not legal. And thanks for sending that.
Right.
Yeah, you can't use electronic calls, but you can use these other calls.
Yeah, I brought some calls this morning. You know, primarily what we use in this early season is wood duck calls.
Uh-huh.
And we carry several of them at the store. We got the Flex Tone. You see those on the TV all the time. Mm-hmm. And we carry the Primos. Everybody knows about the Primos boys.
Yes.
And that's a good call. And these are strictly wood duck calls. It's sort of a whistle.
Uh-huh.
And we carry one by Quaker Boy that's really a good call. Now, we also carry other kind of duck calls, too. But this right now in this season, this is what most people are going to be using is wood duck calls. And they make a squeal. And it's really interesting to be in a blind somewhere and hear those things come whistling by, just squealing.
It's one of the most exciting sounds in outdoors to me.
Right, and those things can move. I mean, They're really fast.
Fascinating.
And they're hard to hit.
Yeah.
Another thing that we carry a lot of, this is a gadwall decoy. It's a big decoy, and it's a common duck around this area, so that's a good one to use. And we carry the coop decoy, which is just a common little bird out there, but it's what the ducks used to seeing, so it's always a good decoy regardless of what you're using.
You know those coots, we talked about it before now. You don't want to shoot the coots and eat them. They don't taste real good, but they're great for decoys and all because birds feel comfortable coming around them. They're safe.
And they have a gizzard about that big, and the gizzard's really good to eat.
I've never tried the gizzard.
We used to make coot gizzard gumbo, you know.
You got to be real hungry to eat that.
And this is a wood duck. Now you'll see this is a large decoy right here, but that's good because they can see it a while. You know, the wood duck's the prettiest decoy there is out there.
Beautiful.
The prettiest duck out there. And they're really something to watch, and they're delicious eating. I mean,
they are good.
Wood ducks are good eating. And another duck that's legal now, the wood duck and the teal is legal right now. That's the 2 birds you can shoot.
Uh-huh.
You can keep, you can have 4 birds. But 2 of them, only 2 can be wood ducks. The rest of them have to be teal. But these are little bitty ducks, and they're hard to hit.
And they're fast.
There are some kind
They'll
of fast.
zoom in.
Yeah. But I'm looking forward to that season, and it's time to get ready. We carry a big supply of waders and decoy bags and all that kind of stuff, you know.
You know, like I say, Deer Point, Lake Seminole, a lot of these ponds and all will be holding some wood ducks and all.
Right. I saw a group of teal the other day up on a Deer Point there, right side of the highway. There's about 15 of them in a bunch there, and they're really pretty.
That's good news. And it starts on a Saturday, and it lasts like 4 days, I believe, 4 or 5 days.
Yeah.
And I know we're fortunate. And a lot of guys, Saturday morning, I'm going to get up and hear them, I know, when it comes.
I live up on Deer Point, and I wake up to gunshots up there in the morning, people shooting ducks. And it's a good place to hunt, and it's close in.
What on your shot? I used to use old 5-shot all the time, 5 lead shot. What do y'all do with steel shot now?
Well, now they have to use steel, and they make steel in different sizes, and you have to use a larger shot. But still, most people use 4s and 6s and 3s, and they're effective. But let them get a little closer. Don't try to shoot too far with steel.
And the best thing on duck hunting, we talk about this all the time, even fishing and deer hunting and all, but the scouting part, scouting and finding out where they're coming in is so important. If you really want to have a successful morning, you've taken somebody with you, you need to go out there a weekend before, some afternoons before, just ride the lakes.
Check it out,
get their pattern, see what they're doing, and know where you're going to set up decoys and know which way the wind's going to be blowing when you get up that morning. All those things are important.
And it's good in bad weather too, rain.
Oh.
And we need to think about the safety factor too, Always wear your life jacket if you're in a boat there. And be careful with waders. If you get on chest waders and you fall and fill that wader up with water, you could get in problem if you get into deep water or something.
You
so
get serious
be
trouble.
very careful and wear safety equipment, and be very careful. Watch out for those logs out there when you're running those motors real fast. Just be careful.
Yeah, and another thing too, when you set up your decoys, like say you want to make an area where you leave room, you don't put them in a big wad, you sort of spread them out and leave room for the ducks to land on them. And again, duck hunting is a lot of fun. I haven't had the opportunity to go the last couple of years, but man, it's a thrill to go.
And there's some fine eating. There's different ways to fix duck, And I like to take wood duck breast and slice it and fry it. Man, that's some kind of good eating.
We'll get hungry already. All right, we're going to take our second break, and we'll be right back. All right, welcome back. Sitting here with Ronnie Groom from C&G Sporting Goods, and we're here looking at all these pictures on iPad, and Ronnie, there's some fascinating colors in on this.
Oh, man, it's just amazing what you can get.
With electronics. I've had a couple of emails. I've been running behind. I want to catch up on some of these pictures. Now, this is one of our viewers up in Mariana. Got to see it. Check this out, folks. They said, hey, Mr. Chester, I live in Mariana. I've been fishing in the Gulf Coast for 20 years and have never seen a manatee in our area. And many people I spoke to did not know the manatees in St. Joe Bay. Attached to 2 pictures I took at 10 a.m. in the channel, leaving a public boat ramp next to the marina in St. Joe. Do you know manatees live in the area? I have 3 boys, 14, and twins, 12. We record your show and watch it all the time. Thank you for giving us a great show. Kind regards, Mike Van Huss from Mariana. And that's one of the manatees right there. And then, okay, we'll go over this next picture. That's a close-up shot. And I replied to Mike's email. We do have manatees. It's not a common occurrence. And it's great to see, especially when you got the boys like that to get to see them. And we have, I know over in Lake Wimico, some of those bass fishermen I talked to, they run into them in Lake Wimico. And I know over the years, you've seen manatees over the years in St. Andrew Bay and different places.
Over around St. Mark's, you see a lot of them.
They're more plentiful there, further south of us, and they want to stick around in cold weather. They'll start moving on out. They don't like to get, and they go up those springs in the wintertime.
It's warm.
Yeah. I've got another picture here. This is a beautiful trout here. Check this out. This is my regular viewer, Billy Barlow. He said, hey, Winston, great day on the water Sunday morning with my fishing buddy Coy in East Bay. 2 slot-sized reds, 2 nice keeper trout, and this 26-inch, 7-pound trout. I released that big girl. In good shape to make us all some babies for the future. Also caught 30 to 40 knotheads. That's those little ones. Keep up the great work on Panhandle Outdoors, and I watch it every morning. Thanks, Bill Barlow. Great picture right there, Bill. We appreciate you sending it. And folks, y'all send those pictures in. We'll share them with our viewing audience, and nothing like to see pictures and speak 1,000 words.
Those are really pretty clear pictures, and man, that's a fine speckled trout.
That is a fine one. I appreciate Bill releasing that trout.
Yeah, I do too, because I'd have to think twice about that.
I know, but we got it on pictures and showed everybody. Now you got some shirts over there, Ronnie. What
yeah, you see all these Salt Life shirts and everything. Well, now we got one that is Hunt Life. I'll show it to you here.
Oh, cool.
And
Hunt Life, and on
here's the back of it.
now that's going to sell. That's going to be
Yeah, and the thing about it, we got them for women. Right there. And pink.
And pink.
And here's one that's really been good for the women.
Little Ryan, look at that little shiny thing.
Yeah, that's sporty, isn't it?
Now it is.
We got hats. Say Hunt Life on them like this. They're just really nice. Here's the girls are going to love this. Camouflage with Hunt Life on
with
it.
Pink trim on it.
And that's got the Browning emblem on it too. And we got them in solid pink too with Hunt Life on them. So we've got a good selection of them, and we're going to have the emblems that you can put on your windshield and all that. So it's going to be, we've got Swamp Life, now we got Hunt Life. Just no end to what people come up with.
I know it. I see it all the time. Country Life, Creek Life, and all. It started out with a little group of people over in Jacksonville, I think, that put a little Salt Life thing, and maybe you might have been telling me that story. Yeah. It just sort of spread out.
Exploded.
It did.
And we were talking about it. It's amazing how people love this kind of stuff, and it kind of tells a story about them.
Yeah, it
where
does.
I am, what I do.
Mm-hmm. And we were laughing earlier. Now, years ago, you never would have thought someone would say like Browning, and people trying to advertise their own names, and now people wearing their stuff advertising for them.
Yeah, and I used to see shirts with Adidas on them, and I thought, man, they're advertising.
Yeah, Nike, and
Yeah, it's great. Everybody loves it.
Okay, so we got duck season coming up now, and then we're right around the corner from dove season.
Right, it's always the first Saturday in October.
And then we're going, and they've changed this up. I mentioned on the show before now that squirrel season is going to be the week after on private land on that Saturday. They've changed it up this year, and all over the state it's going to open up October 13th on private land. I've checked and double checked and have FWC in here and talk about it, so they are going to do it. But on private land only, on state land it's going to be on regular time.
One comment on the duck season, I told you can shoot 4 birds, only 2 can be wood ducks. But they haven't put out what you can shoot yet in the regular duck season. They always wait to the last minute to tell you what kind of ducks, because they do a lot of surveys to determine, how many of what kind we've got and what we can do with them.
It's always been fascinating to me over 40-something years. I've really studied ducks and all. How you have too. How some years we have a huge population flying through, and then some years it's skinny.
Yeah.
And all kind of theories about not enough water that year, or not enough corn, or whatever. But I think it just goes through cycles.
The same thing's true with deer and ducks and hogs. One year you got a lot, next year you got a few, and you think they're all gone. Then you have a really good year. So, it just varies. Conditions change.
Well, I know there's a hardcore group of duck hunters I know that they're going to be out there Saturday morning.
I guarantee you. I'll wake up Saturday morning and all that shooting going on, and I just think those guys are having a great time.
Now, to me, the ideal trip is to go duck hunting after about an hour or two.
It's about over.
It's about over. I mean, if you want to sit around there at 10 or 11 o'clock, you can if you just enjoy being out. But you might want to me, the ideal trip is take a rod and reel.
That's right. Start fishing.
And shoot some ducks and fish a little bit.
Yeah, get you a mixture of game there.
We'll show you. We'll go to Google Earth maybe one day and show you some of the hot spots for duck hunting. Like I say, Deer Point Lake Wimico has a good duck hunting.
Oh yeah.
And of course, Lake Seminole is one of the premier areas, and Choctawhatchee River.
And the big river, Apalachicola River. There's a lot. That's a monstrous swamp down there.
Especially on that lower end down there, that probably is a prime area. I know Bill Shields does a lot of hunting, and in fact, he's got decoys now that turn their head. And
got the wings are turning.
Yeah, remote control, and it's just funny watching him. I get a kick out of just watching him set up a decoy.
Yeah, they have to get there way before daylight and get ready.
All right, we're going to take our final break, and we'll be right back. All right, welcome back. Sitting in Ron and Groom from C&G Sporting Goods, and let's go over our fish and game forecast for today. We're looking at our times. Our times this morning will be 9:45 to 11:45, and this evening from 10:09 to 12:09. And I realized after I had done the weather, Jeff reminded me I'd not done the tides.
Yeah.
Right? You ever forget things like that?
All the time.
So we're going to give you our tides from this is a carryover from our weather report. Now today is September the 12th. We're looking at the high tide at 6:02 this morning, and low tide at 5:03 this afternoon. Okay, and you have a good strong tide for the rest of this week. But look, about 2 weeks from now, the last weekend during duck season, you have no tides. You have neap tides and all. So if you're going to bay hunt, you're going to be in good shape as far as the tide not moving and getting your boat stranded and all. And these tide charts, you have them down at C&G too. So
that's important to know the tides.
Yeah, it's important. Now, we were talking about deer blinds, importance of deer blinds and all, and then we just got talking about you've got plenty of deer blinds down there.
Yeah, now's the time to put these things up if you don't have them up. Those deer need to get used to them.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to just put it up the day before you hunt because you leave a lot of scent in there, and the deer notice things like that. But after it's there a few days or a couple of weeks, they kind of feel comfortable with it. So now's the time to get it out and put it up. And if you're using these tent blinds, you need to go in there and put brush around them because deer will notice them the first time they're up, especially if you put them right side of a field. So go in there and take some brush and brush them up real good, and the deer won't notice it. Doesn't make a difference with turkeys. You can put it in the middle of the field and they'll walk right up to it.
Yeah.
But deer are a lot different.
Now, what about you were telling me you was just starting your corn, feeding your corn now?
I got a feeder going, and I just started this past Saturday, and I got it going real slow. In fact, I got the timer set on 1. It throws about that much. I want to get them to come into it, and then as the season gets closer, I'll turn it up to 4 or 5, something like that, and let it go off, early in the morning and about 5 in the afternoon.
Now, you run it all season. Your feeder, you run it all season until
all hunting season I do, but after the season's over, I cut it off. Yeah. Corn's gotten too expensive.
Boy, it has, hasn't it?
Yeah, I cut back on feeders and the time they run too.
We're still talking about hunting. Have you started your pre-season scouting and all? Have you started looking around?
Yeah, I've pretty much got all that already done, and it's a matter of going to your stands and trimming trees and shooting lanes and cutting you some trails in there, and then get out and stay out till the hunt season.
So many of us, I'm guilty of it sometimes too, we get so busy and we wait till the Saturday before the hunting season opens up the next Saturday, and all of a sudden we try to go out and do everything and cut. You just can't do it all then.
Well, if you go in, like the 2 or 3 days before and start doing all that cutting and everything, and you'll probably still see some deer, but you won't see the ones you want. The great big ones, they're just too smart.
And we were talking about that. We always talk about that trophy buck. That he got that way for a reason. Because he notices little things like that.
There's a world of difference between a 2.5-year-old deer, a year and a half, and a 4 or 5-year-old deer. I mean, they're just so skittish.
Have your customers? I know you have such a loyal group of customers down at C&G, and when I'm down there, I run into always somebody I know and just enjoy chatting with them and all. But now a lot of your guys they trade with you. They're getting ready for a Texas trip or Georgia trip. This time of year, they're going.
I think Georgia opens the next few days or the next week or so anyway. So, and a lot of people, getting ready to go to Illinois and Kansas. Kansas seems to be the hot spot.
Kansas is hot now, isn't it?
That's all you see on the outdoor channels is people hunting in Kansas. And they have monster deer out there. But of course, there's nothing but food out there.
Yeah. They're in a buffet the whole time.
That's right. Down here, they have to eat pine cones, to get by.
We talk about that. Around here, with people, there's several places here that were fenced-in areas that are trying to grow some bigger deer and all, and they have pretty good success with it.
Yeah,
big deer.
If you feed them good and let them grow. But one good thing this year is I've noticed we're going to have a bumper acorn crop. In fact, they're already falling in places, the little low bush acorns, and we're seeing a lot of sign, and deer are already chomping down on them. And we've had a lot of rain, which has grown a lot of, wild food, which is the majority of their diet. And we should have a bumper crop of deer this year, size-wise and horn-wise.
Yeah. They just love those acorns.
Oh, yeah. They'll eat acorns. That's number one.
Yeah, they'll walk by feeders. I've seen them walk by feeder, go straight to the acorn before.
And, they'll eat those red oaks, too, thank goodness, because that's what we have the most of. But they'll eat all those acorns out there. They just love them.
Now, do you do much planting with rice patches and different things like that? Or?
I got a couple little plots, but they're small. But they keep the deer coming, and it's good, especially when I'm taking grandkids out and some guests or somebody just to let them hunt. They want to see a deer. It doesn't necessarily have to be a monster buck, but it's a lot better if you see a deer as not seeing a deer.
It's exciting just seeing
a deer. That's right, and they come in there and feed, and And you know, we have doe seasons coming up too this year, so you can harvest a few does, and we need to keep the herd intact.
I know it. Now, we talked about this before. I think we had on these binoculars, the importance of binoculars, you know, seeing deer at a distance.
You know, I always say if I get out of my truck and walk to my stand, I forgot my binoculars, I will get down and go back and get them, because it just adds so much to your hunting trip, you know, to be able to watch a raccoon or a wildcat or something, you know. It just adds so much to it, and you can judge the deer you want to shoot. You don't want to shoot these real young deer, you know.
Right.
With a good set of binoculars, you can look at the base of their horns and their back, and you know, determine if they're a mature deer and one you want to shoot.
A lot of these hunting clubs now, we got these 6-point rules, 8-point rules,
Right.
and that has really helped.
It's really helped us to grow some larger deer, and but you know, most all clubs, including ours, if we taking a youngster and then he can shoot whatever comes out
That's
there,
right.
we don't want to make it all trophy. It's got to be a fun trip.
Yeah. And you want to get them hooked on hunting too, and that's the best way, like I say, to see something or shoot something like that.
Yeah, and I encourage anybody going hunting, if you can, you know, take a youngster with you or somebody that's never been hunting and let them enjoy it, because most people, a lot of people are not exposed to that, and they don't have the opportunity. So, you know, especially a youngster, take them hunting, and the first trip, they don't have to shoot something, just let them go up with you and sit and learn and enjoy what you're doing. And if you're taking youngsters, the trip is for them, not you, and you need to take a little snack or two and have a good time, ride around, throw a few rocks in the creek, and just have a good time.
That's exactly right. It's not all about just pulling that trigger. It's about everything around it. Yeah.
That's icing on the cake.
Yeah, yeah. And I've seen this over and over again with kids. Just you know, eyes get wild walking through the woods, just looking at different things and all. Things we take for granted.
Yeah, at our place, we every Saturday everybody takes turn cooking, and you cook a really good meal. You know, you fry fish or barbecue chickens or something, and we got guys that even though the hunting's pretty good, they're gonna come out of the woods and eat. That's more important than the hunting.
Speaking of eating, now I'll be coming around. It'll be lunchtime before we know it. I'm getting hungry already.
Me too.
Hey, Ronnie, thank you so much.
Thank you, buddy.
We've run out of time. Folks, thank y'all for watching the show. We appreciate it. Sometime during the course of the day, you do something good for somebody. God bless.
Thanks for joining us for Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester. Panhandle Outdoors features hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.